Welcome to the Worldwide Golf Insider Podcast. Hello, everyone. Tom Brissell here. Thanks again for joining us. You know, Worldwide Golf, home of the 90-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee, and you can shop at any of our over 90 retail locations nationally or at worldwidegolf.com. Our special guest joining us today, he probably lives near one of our stores up in Nashville, Tennessee. He's got 13 professional worldwide wins, 9 on the tour, including Rookie of the Year, 2012 FedEx Cup champion, Ryder Cup champion twice, president. It goes on, but just recently he was named the Payne Stewart Award winner for 2024 because of his commitment to service, his community, integrity in the game. Who else but Mr. Brandt Snedeker? Sneds, thanks so much for joining us, man. It's great to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Our store in Nashville, have you ever been in there? Just curious.
I have not. No, I have not. I need to check it out. Do you know where it is?
Yeah. I tell you what, I was thinking we need to get you in there like undercover, put a wig on you and the mustache and go in there and say, I need some more distance. These young guys are not.
I do need some more distance. I'll take anything.
We'll put you in a simulator and see what
exactly.
Out of it. Oh, that'd be great. Hey, let's talk about the Payne Stewart Award first and foremost. Congratulations, man. That's the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award for golf for what you've done. Tell us how they surprise you with that. Tracy and the tour are getting pretty creative on how they're breaking this to the recipients. How did you find out about it?
Yeah, they got my family involved, and so it's kind of a inside baseball joke on me, I guess. And they kind of framed it as we were doing a video piece for our foundation on a Saturday when I was home, and I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it was something else to do for, get some content out for what our foundation's about and what we're doing in the community. And I showed up and the tour was there and kind of just doing a normal interview. And my wife walks in the middle of the interview, which has never happened before, hands me the phone and says, somebody needs to talk to you. And I was like, I immediately panicked. So I was like, okay, well, I don't have anybody left in my life that's not in that room except for my brother. So I thought something had happened to my brother. I thought something really bad had happened because I knew she wouldn't do this. And then I saw Tracy's face on the phone on FaceTime. And I was like, okay, I know what this is about. This is good. This is good. I can get through this. And so I was just shocked and overwhelmed, but it didn't think it was something I always wanted to achieve on tour after being a rookie and going to that dinner every year. I made the tour championship and seeing how special it was to the guys that were nominated and won. So it was on my radar, but it wasn't really something I thought was going to happen this year or next year or anything like that. But been a great experience, and we had a great night celebrating Payne's legacy and what he's meant to the tour, and have my family there and friends there was really special.
Yeah, when you look at the names that have come before you, Byron Nelson, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, does it ever sink in? I know it may take a while, but does it ever sink in?
Not really. I think as I said, you must have had a lean year picking because there's no way I deserve this list compared to these other guys and what they've done. I think it's just, it's a special moment when your peers and the people that you care about and your idols think that you're worthy of something like this and that you are holding up your end of the bargain of what it means to be a PGA Tour player. So I take more pride in that than anything else. It's just knowing those guys think I'm worthy of it. And we had a great kind of meeting beforehand with all the past champions and got to talk to them a little bit and what it meant to them. And I remember a lot of their speeches and how emotional they were. So it was really cool to have that moment with them to let them know how special it is for me to be a part of that group now.
You mentioned your foundation, and along with the award comes a pretty nice grant that you can give back in your community. Talk about your foundation and what you guys are doing and how that money is going to be used.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to have a $300,000 grant from Southern Company. We started our foundation in 2012, right after on the FedEx Cup. We felt like, okay, we've been blessed. It's an unbelievable life that I get to live. We've got to find a way to give back. And what does that look like for us? And so we kind of started out with the idea of, helping our local community in Middle Tennessee. Being the only professional golfer really lives in Nashville, I wanted to make sure that my presence was known and that people in the community saw us out there giving back. And so we really focused on youth charities throughout the state, truly trying to help kids who are underprivileged or underserved or who need some kind of assistance that we can help and partner with and really provide those assistances, whether it's after school programs, whether it's junior golf programs, whether it's different foundations we've partnered with. I think the one thing that we found for this whole process between my wife and I is that we are super passionate about helping people in Middle Tennessee and across the state. But we like to partner with people who have their hands in it every day, who live it, breathe it, so that we know every dollar we're giving is going to affect somebody in a positive way. We don't have any employees. It's just us running it. Every dollar we raise goes straight to charity. And we've raised over $6.5 million since we've started it, and really have, with a goal of trying to get to $10 million by the time I turn 50. So we'd love to have that in an endowment, giving out money every year and really seeing this thing last for a long time. So it's been really cool to be a part of some of these organizations and see how they impact kids on a daily basis, whether it's, one's called Our Kids, helps children who are sexually abused and their families deal with the trauma and the care after the event, or whether it's Preston Taylor Ministries, it helps with after school programs for kids who have single parents who are working and have nowhere else to go, stuff like that, where we feel like, okay, this is a place we can really step in and help, give them some much needed funds, some much needed help, get the word out for what they're trying to do, and really affect people that we care about and that we live next to.
Life in the game. I've got to ask you this question because our viewers and listeners tell us they love hearing it. We all fell in love with this game somehow. How did you get your start? Who put the club in your hand the first go around, or where did it all begin?
Yeah, I've always, since I remember loving golf. That's all I've ever wanted to do. I remember being in kindergarten, and they give you an assignment of writing what you want to be when you grow up, and I put PGA Tour player and drew a stick figure trying to swing a golf club. That's how much I cared about it and loved about it. And then the first time I really got a set of clubs, I was probably seven years old. My grandmother, we would go up and spend a week with her in the summertime in West Plains, Missouri. So kind of Payne, Stewart home country up there. And she was a huge golf fan, but she didn't play. And so we'd spend a week with her, and she kind of ran the food and beverage at a local country club. And so we'd go in there, and she was like, well, you guys can't help me do anything here. Here's a set of golf clubs. Go hit balls and go play while you're here. And so that's how we kind of got started. And then as my brother and I came home from that trip, my dad kind of took it and ran with it. He loved golf. He was an avid weekend golfer. And it became something we did as a family. We traveled all throughout the U.S. playing golf places. We played every weekend together against each other. And it was kind of what we did as a family. So it was something I always love. I'm still passionate about it. I still, think about it all day, every day, and love competing and love practicing and love hitting balls, and just such a blessing to be able to play this game that I love for my full-time job.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. I thought I saw a video piece on you one time. I'm not sure if it was Matt Adams or whatever was interviewing you and talking about your father and the influence he had on you, and not so much here's how to get good, but here's what not to do kind of thing. Here's what could happen kind of thing. Talk about that.
Yeah, he was always, so he was an attorney by trade. So he always had this saying. He goes, every client that ever ends up coming to see me always says, well, I didn't intend for this to happen. I didn't mean for this to happen. And he was always like, guys, I don't care what you mean or what you intend. It's what you do. So if you want to do something, go do it. And don't ever want to look back on your life and your career and say, I wish I'd tried harder, or I wish I'd not given up, or I wish this. He is a big believer in do stuff the right way, treat people the right way, leave it all on the golf course. Don't have a bad attitude. Don't ever phone it in. Don't ever quit out there, because once you quit once, you'll quit again real quick. And he was a real big believer in that kind of stuff, and just always wanted us to compete in everything we did. Just, I don't care what you're doing, always compete to your hardest, try your hardest, don't give up, those kind of things and those kind of values, which I still lean on to this day. And I think as a guy who, my dad was not a good golfer by any stretch of the imagination. He was probably a 12 handicap, but he was a great teacher in the fact that he was really good at helping with the mental side of stuff, how to think and how to prepare and how to handle adversity and how to not give in, and those kind of things, which I think is super important in the game.
Speaking of teacher, who taught you your putting stroke? I mean, if there's anything I could take from your game, it would be that. They call me the king of deceleration. I don't think you've ever decelerated on a putt in your life. Where did that come from? It's so, it makes it work,
I know. I grew up playing in public courses here in Nashville, Tennessee. So my dad didn't join a country club until I was probably 13 or 14 years old. So we would grow up we had great golf courses here in Middle Tennessee, McCabe and Harpeth Hills and all these public golf courses I grew up playing on. But the greens are slow. I mean, they're running at 6 or 7.
Yeah.
There's big Bermuda greens that aren't really moving very fast. And so to get them there, you had to hit them hard. There's just no other way around it. Like you couldn't dime in. And so I kind of just grew up putting that way, where I was like, okay, this is how I've got to hit it. And I just I was always had good feel. I've always been good hands around the greens. And so I luckily nobody ever messed with it. Nobody ever truly tried to make me putt other ways. And so I had a great teacher in Todd Anderson, who's still my teacher to this day, who
Yeah.
was instrumental in helping me kind of refine it, saying, listen, this is what you do. This is your rhythm. We're not changing any of that. I can help you a little bit with, setup stuff and maybe your grip a little bit, or this or that, but your rhythm is important. So he would actually help me devise drills to make sure my rhythm didn't slow down too much. He actually is a big favor. Like, man, if you're getting under pressure, speed that thing up, because that's how you're wired. So he's been great to talk to about it, because he's not trying to fit me to a system. He's trying to fit his system to me and say, this is what you do well. Let me just help you a little bit.
Yeah, between practice stroke and pulling the trigger, you don't waste any time, right? There's no time for negative thoughts to get in your mind.
No, I try not to at all. Like, when I get in trouble, I'm taking too much time. Like, it's funny, you watch guys go play pro-ams or practice rounds, and they'll get over a putt and just whack it in there without even looking, reading it, or doing whatever. And a lot of times when things aren't going well at the range, you need to get back to that. You need to get back to, okay, well, yeah, I just look at it. It's going a little right to left. Let's get out there somewhere and give it a chance, And, putting's a very hard thing for people to comprehend sometimes, because there's so much that goes into it, between line and speed, trying to deal with the conditions, the length of the putt, how the green surfaces are rolling, those kind of things that I try to simplify. And you're like, okay, it's going right to left. Let's get it out there on the right somewhere and give it a chance to go in. It's going left to right. Let's get on the left somewhere and give it a chance to go in. Let's try to make sure it's always on the high side, dying in the hole. And we're not leaving any putt short. I hate seeing, I had a great, Todd was always great. He's like, listen, there's two ways to putt. Either you're a guy who never three putts, but you're going to leave a lot short, or you're going to be a guy who three putts a couple times a week, but you're never leading them short, because you're going to run 4 or 5 feet by. I'm like, well, I'd much rather hit one 4 or 5 feet by than hit one a foot short. So that's just the way I've kind of always felt about it.
Go back in the memory bank. What's the biggest putt or the most pressure putt you made in your life? Or is there one? Have you kind of just taken that part out of the game,
No, I mean, there was definitely a bunch of big putts where, whether it's, I think that my first win at Wyndham, I made about a 40-footer on the 17th hole. I was tied for the lead at the time. It was for me to have a one-up lead going in 18, and it was just a massive putt. I mean, to have put me on the 18th hole with a one-shot lead. That first win's always super hard, and to make a putt like that was probably, you never know. And then I made another great putt in a playoff against Luke Donald at Harbor Town. So my second win, I had about a 8-footer to keep the playoff going, and I was able to make it. And that was the first time I really felt like, okay, man, I can really handle this now. I know he feels the same way I feel right now. I know we're both nervous, and I know, but if I just stick to what I do well, I'll be okay. And so since then, it had some huge putts where I missed too. I mean, I remember missing several putts to make the Tour Championship in epic fashion, missing short ones and stuff like that. But I've always had a good feel for those around the greens, and I said, if I want one club in my hand with a lot of pressure on, it's the putter. Certainly don't want my 3-iron in my hand. I want that putter in my hand.
It's funny. This week out at TPC Sawgrass Dyes Valley is Q School, and all the guys are out there, and they've got the putting training aids, they've got the mirrors, and they got the tees down and all that. And Lenny Matisse was out there the other day, and he looked at me and goes, I don't miss that at all, man. That's just these guys playing for their lives right now, and it can all come down to this, 5 cards, 144 guys, 5 cards. That's tough,
It's worse. Yeah. I never had any success in Q School, so I am not the guy to talk to. I missed the second stage both times I tried by a shot. So I still think it's the most pressure-packed week of golf there is, just because I think second stage is, because at the time, if you didn't get through second stage, you had no status anywhere. So you didn't have a job the next year. And so that second stage was everything. If you made it through second stage and got to finals, you had status on the Korn Ferry Tour at the worst. And that was always a huge thing for young guys coming out. So it's a pressure pack week. I don't know how these guys do it. More power to them for getting their card through it, and looking forward to meeting the 5 new guys who get through this year.
Yeah. Before we let you go, now's the time where you can sing the praises of some of those sponsors that have been with you. Certainly Workday, right?
Yes, Workday's been with me for a long time. I've been fortunate in my career to have some great sponsors, to have people who started off as sponsors and become lifelong friends. And Wyndham Corporation's been unbelievable. Steve Holmes and Jeff Bellotti and Mike Brown are great human beings, and they run a great organization, and there's great people on top of it. Anil Bushry and at Workday has become a close friend of mine. He's a founder of it, and just an unbelievable company with how they treat their employees, how they treat everything they do in life is phenomenal, and makes me want to be a better person. Scott Mahoney and Peter Millar, they've been friends, and we've been close friends and partners forever. And I'm so proud of him for growing that company into what it is and turning into kind of a powerhouse in the golf industry. Is really, really cool to see. My people at Serpro here in Nashville, they're awesome. They'll make it like it never even happened, right? They're people who've had a disaster, or have had flooding, or had fire issues. Know these guys come in and kind of help you get your life back together, do unbelievable work. So I'm just fortunate for all those guys and for believing in me and caring about me enough to stick with me for this long. And I've been really blessed in my life to be around some great people and happy to call them friends and partners.
How about 2025? Where will we see you this year?
Yeah, full schedule again. Starting out in Hawaii at Sony Open, one of my favorite events of the year, second week of January. So excited to be back out there with the guys. I'm just turned 44 a couple days ago, so I feel it, but I'm ready to go with these young guys again and get back out there and kind of show these guys I still know what I'm doing.
We'll get you in a simulator, get you some more yards, right?
I'm trying. I got one at the house. I'm working on it.
Before I let you go, final words. What would 44-year-old Brandt Snedeker tell these 15-year-old Brandt Snedekers out there right now that are chasing their dream?
Yeah, just to, I feel like a lot of kids, it's really hard. I've never seen a kid who had a great work ethic not make it. I've seen lots of kids who are super talented make it and not stick, but I've never with kids with great work ethic who do stuff the right way, who put the time in and compete and never give up, have great attitudes. I don't see those guys failing very often. I'd say attitudes is huge in it. Just making sure you know how to handle adversity. You know how to handle. You're going to fail, so how do you handle it? How do you come back from it? Does it make you work harder, or does it deflate you? If it deflates you, this is not going to be the game for you because you're going to fail an awful lot. So you need to get ready, accept the challenge of what that's going to look like, and then have fun while you're doing it, man. I tell people, I've never worked a day in my life. I have the best job on the planet. I get to go play golf with best golf courses all over the world and get paid to do it. So enjoy it. You're chasing a dream that's very few people get to do. And so the more you enjoy it, the more you have fun with it, the more you appreciate it. I think the more success you're going to have.
Sneds, thanks so much for everything. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for, what you do for the game and what you do for your community. And the world will be a great place if we had a lot more Brandt Snedekers in it. We appreciate it.
I don't think so, man. I think one's enough. I think my family will tell you one's probably good enough.
Thanks so much, brother. We'll catch you down the road. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.